And remind me again, where will I find my SA node?
On the top.
Atria, right side or left
Yeah.
side?
Left.
So SA node,
Oh, okay.
where do I find my AV node? More towards the middle, right? Not dead center in the middle, but about right here. That's my AV node. And we know my action potential has to travel from my SA node to my AV node. Right? Again, Brianna's SA node, fine. Her AV node is a little slow in receiving the signal, hence that little delay. So what's going on? What's the problem? Something's going on with this action potential getting from my SA node to my AV node. It's getting through, but for some reason it's taking a longer time to make it there. Let's think of some reasons why my action potential might get delayed. Let's go this back to an example. You take the freeway to work. You take the 10 or the 110. Usually you can make it to work in 20 minutes. Today it took you 30 minutes. Why? Traffic. It was slowing you down. There were cars in the way. A blockage of some sort. Of course, not cars, right? But think of muscle fibers. Muscle fibers should be going nice and smooth. Your action potential will be traveling through. If there's a damaged muscle fiber or like a broken down car on the highway, that's going to slow you down. So if you have some damaged muscle fibers, they can't continue the action potential while your action potential is going to have to take a longer route. Right? So there's some sort of what we call for Brianna, we call this, if something's going on here, if it's slower, we call it an AV block. In other words, you're blocking the pathway to the AV node. Right? And again, a lot of times it's damaged muscle fibers. So then you start to think, well, how do your muscle fibers get damaged? What do you think? How can part of your heart get damaged? Too much what?
Fat.
Okay, good. One would be fatty buildup. Right? If you have fat buildup or cholesterol buildup, what happens is that builds up in your arteries, and those arteries deliver the oxygen and nutrients to the muscle. If you can't deliver those nutrients to the muscle, they die. So it could be as simple as some artery fat buildup, right? It could even be a little heart attack, right? A little heart attack again, those muscle fibers would die, and the action potential then would have to go around it and would take longer, hence my longer interval in Brianna. What is that? Right, so then this would be when the muscle fibers die, or when any cells die, they call it atrophy. Atrophy is when the cells die. Yeah. So for Brianna, she's not in bad shape, right? The QRS complex is still occurring. She still has all three waves. There's just a slight delay, but this could be a signal that there is something wrong, and that if we don't fix it or address it, it could, over time, get worse. Okay, any questions on this? What do you think would happen if you had a complete AV block? If the action potential couldn't make it to the AV node at all?
Your heart wouldn't beat.
Let's be more specific. What wouldn't you see here?
The QRS complex.
The QRS. Yeah, so if she had a complete AV block, the action potential couldn't make it to the AV node at all, you would still see the P wave because the SA node is 5, but then after that it would actually be completely flat. Right? No QRS. And then the SA node will go again, you'll see another P wave, but again, no QRS.
So would that just be an abnormal heart rate?
Absolutely, that would be abnormal, but that of course is more deadly. Because if you know you have no QRS complex, what's not occurring?
The ventricle squeezing.
Your ventricles aren't contracting. If your ventricles are contracting, you're not pumping blood out to your body. Right? So you get to that scenario where you don't see a QRS complex, then you're definitely on some sort of machine to support you. Yeah. Whereas Brianna, she's still more or less functioning fine. All right, great. Okay, so just to summarize, the electrical activity of the heart and the ECG. We know electrical activity of the heart is signaled in action potentials from the SA node to the AV node, to the AV bundle, to the Purkinje fibers, which ultimately contract the muscle cell. Then, an electrocardiogram is simply a graphical recording of the heart's electrical activity, and it corresponds to the cardiac cycle. And that's where you guys have your nice review sheet. So this sheet will be really good because this basically reviews your entire lecture 16, understanding how the cardiac cycle works with systole and diastole, understanding how pressure, blood flow, valves, and the electrical activity all tie together. Okay. Let's move on